Welcome back to Muse on the Mic. I'm Riley.
And I'm Emily. Thanks for joining us again on another awesome episode of Muse on the Mic. We're so happy you're here to join us. I think we've got a really fun one today. Riley, you want to
We
tell
do.
us a little bit about it?
I'm so excited for this one. So it's 20 questions. I'm asking Emily all the things. She's going to ask me. I'm a little nervous. So we're going to go back and forth and dive into some questions and end with rapid fire.
I love the rapid fire. I'm excited. Before we jump into the question, guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, join us over on the Patreon, of course, because that's where all the hot topics are. Juicier content, not made for YouTube content, definitely not safe for work content over on the Patreon. Lots of episodes for you to binge. All the social media as well as in the caption below. Make sure you follow us on all platforms and engage with what we're up to. Let's jump in, Rye.
Let's go. At what age or life experience did you realize you were interested in becoming an entrepreneur?
That's a good one. I would say from my very first corporate job. I was 14 and I started working in the fitness industry. And it wasn't a rebellion like, I know I don't need a boss or something like disgruntled like that. I just was so drawn to like the management and like ownership roles. And all of my ideas in my head were always just one day when I own my own gym, or one day when I own my own like tanning salon or spa. Like I worked in a whole bunch of aesthetic businesses and things like that before I got into sex work and a little bit during. But it was always just in that context. It wasn't a what if, it wasn't maybe one day like as this pipe dream. It was just this is what I would do. And so, yeah, I just kind of always knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. That's a good one. Are you gonna do a second one?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Where do you feel most misunderstood in business?
Oh my God. My text messages. It's so easy. It's like the bane of my frustrations. I find that I've never had a problem in my personal life with texting people. People always understand me, whether it's a casual acquaintance, whether it's my besties, whether it's, former family or friends or like anything like that, boys, anything. I've never been misunderstood in text. In business, I'm always misunderstood between staff and text. It doesn't happen with clients. It doesn't happen like with emails or tweets or inquiries, DMs, nobody else but my staff. It drives me insane. You know how much it drives me insane. It's
Yeah.
indirectly and directly drives you insane because you have to come and either rescue the conflict or send messages for me or edit my things first or all of this ridiculousness just so that I get properly understood. And I always tell the girls, like, if you know me in person, or even like through calls, through our personal text back and forth, like just engagement. You know how I speak. You know I'm laughing all the time. You know I never cuss at people, but I'm the first one to be like, what the fuck about something. But like, you can hear my tone. You should be able to hear me laughing throughout my
Right.
messages. And they find me engaging and hilarious and fair and honest and all those things in person. But in text, it's an absolute nightmare. Hate it.
I figured that's where you're going to go. Mind you, I think you've become really good at looking at your text and like, okay, how is this going to be interpreted? And really taking that time before you hit send. But yeah, I
It's
figured that's what you
annoying.
were going to say.
It's annoying. I mean, I get the personal growth aspect, but like, it would be great if this was a lesson that could also translate to other parts of my life. Like if I was like an oversharer with like a new guy or something, I could
Mhm.
understand being like, oh, well, I've already learned. Sometimes I need to reread what I said here before I'm like, here's my story or here's something naughty or, second guessing myself. I don't second guess myself in any other factor. It drives me nuts.
You
I'll
know.
rant about that for the rest of my life. Even if it finally stops, I'll be like, you remember that for 15 fucking years?
Yep.
Drives me crazy. All righty, here's two for you. You ready? What is your favorite body slide to teach in training?
In all honesty, probably the most basic. It's the one I teach the most because training is the basics.
Right.
And so for those of you that don't know, I would demonstrate, so to speak, man on the table, on his back, penis starting kind of around here and girl kind of sliding up, and you're using a lot of your tummy, and it's warm, soft, oily woman. It just feels really good. But there's so many little things you can add into that, like really making a play on eye contact or your breath and like blowing in his neck or his ear. You can really make this simple body slide really sensual, and I try to really play on those aspects during training. So I think, like I said, I only teach so much in the first training session, but having those little details, I think, makes all the difference. Like it's either girls sliding up and down or adding those sensual touches and kind of, the reach under and all the little maneuvers that we teach them that make it really cool.
I love that. It's so true. And it's so good. We need a t-shirt that talks some joke about the reach under. There's something there. I like that.
Always a part of training.
Tell us all one of your favorite memories from year one.
So I kind of have two. It's hard to say in both, a little bit in different contexts. One would have to be the Peter story that we talked about on a previous podcast, but that dinner and our like celebrating together was one of like the highlights for me for sure. It was such a great night, despite
I love that.
throwing Peter under the bus. And the second would have to be in the spa and client offering 5K to have a session with me. And at the time, I think I was slightly offended, maybe. Like, I didn't take the deal. Should I have? I don't know. But at the time, I was like, no, I don't work here. I own this business. And yeah, but looking back, I was like, I was so silly.
He was kind of silly too, but he was a very determined Jen. I remember that day like it was like yesterday. There was an energy and a buzz about. I was like, what just happened?
And I think clients often want the receptionist, and we were the receptionists at the time. So they want what's off the menu. But to come at such a price point, and especially back then, I mean, we were new business owners, let's face it, our paychecks weren't really rolling in at the time. So I probably should have considered it a little longer than I did, but it was off the table.
I love it. I love it. This is fun.
Okay. Do you have a hard time finding healthy work-life balance?
In some ways, yes. In other ways, I'd say no. There's definitely been times where I definitely feel like when the workload is just nonstop for multiple days in a row, it gets to me. And that might sound a little bit strange to people that, work full time, Monday to Friday, 8 hours a day, and they're busy all day. But like, we're on the clock until about 7:30 in the morning, till at different points we're open till well over 2 a.m. And I was the night owl, so I definitely wasn't up at 7:30. That's all you. But like, you're literally on the clock from the moment you open your eyes until the minute you go to sleep. I have brutal insomnia. So there was many days where it was 20 hours a day of being Emily and having to be on call all the time. And that would definitely get to me over time. That said, I think we're pretty blessed in our freedom because we can still handle everything on a beach or at the grocery store in the checkout line, or, just doing the day-to-day things and living the life that we choose, as opposed to a life you kind of get stuck or settled into. I love that we don't have 9 to 5 structure, but we also don't get to clock out. So that can be a struggle sometimes. But I think over the years, we've both gotten better at not just taking breaks, because like, again, when do we get a day off? But leaning on each other the right ways and kind of trading back and forth duties, and just being open when we're like, look, I need to tap out for a couple hours. Like, I'm going to scream about this drama, or this situation has me really stressed out. I'm going to take a walk, or it's time for a nap, or I'm going to rub one out. I'll get back to you in 20 minutes. Like, I'm not a parent, but I get to that limit where I'm like, these kids are driving me crazy. And it could not be kids, it could be the washing machine, but it's the same like energy where I'm like, if I hear the dryer one more time, I'm going to snap. And I take pride in the fact that in 14 years, I haven't snapped. So let's not make a dryer be that bitch.
Yeah.
The other times that I've struggled a little bit with it is when I've decided to start dating somebody new, because I want to be present on a first date at dinner and put my phone away. Murphy's Law will have it that that's when, the fire alarm's going
Yeah.
off, or someone just tried to do something, like something crazy will happen. And that'll be the moment where I have to be the jerk at dinner that's like, I'm so sorry, I have to get this. They've called 4 times in a row. But other than that, I don't think so. I have different struggles in my personal life, like maintaining a diet or an exercise plan or a sleep schedule.
Yeah.
But I think we're blessed in most of our abilities to choose how we spend our hours. It can feel a bit of a luxury sometimes.
You know what? I even
Quarantine was
find
nice though.
I find for myself, just to give my 2 cents,
Yeah,
because so much of our work is done on the phone, which I think a lot of people nowadays probably operate in a very similar way. But
yeah,
whether it's with family or children or a relationship, always being on your phone and people kind of looking at you like, can you get off your phone now? And thinking like, you people know me. This is work,
right.
people like know this, but yet they need that reminder. Like I'm not chit chatting with my friend. Um,
Right,
but it looks like you're just, playing a game or scrolling social media where it's like, no, this is work. So give me some time.
absolutely. Yeah. I think having understanding people around is cool. And I think that's why it's awkward, for example, on a first date. That
Yeah.
said, a real estate agent is no different.
Hmm.
Like they don't get much hours off the clock. And if a client calls, they have to answer because they might be closing in 2 hours. Like,
Yeah.
eat your dinner, hurry up.
Yeah. True.
But I think informing people ahead of time is important too. So at least somebody new gets it.
Hmm. Have you ever had a favorite employee or favorite employees along the way? And why was she your favorite?
Definitely. I have so many fond memories as soon as you said that. Definitely, and many over the years and for different reasons. In our very first set of staff, I was really proud and felt really heartwarmed at the fact that some of my former coworkers had decided to jump and take the plunge with us. Sentimentally, that meant a lot to me. They were my friends, they were people I was familiar with. I trusted the quality of their sessions and their service. And the fact that they trusted me to kind of leave their comfy workplace with their, built-in clientele and all those things at a time where we didn't have Twitter and like all of our clients in on an email, list or something like that. It was a big leap of faith because how will they find you? you know Hindsight, that ended up a terrible decision, but at the time it was definitely what we needed. And I look back on that as like, yeah, they were some of my favorite people at the time. We've definitely had girls over the years that personally I was like, if I wasn't their boss, I'd be friends with this girl. I've attempted when we were a little younger to be friends with a couple girls, do something social if we were into the same, music scene or something like that. That ended up terrible too. Won't do that again. But I really enjoyed those girls. That's why I was like, hey, let's go to this event together. Like you're fun,
Yeah.
I'm fun. Let's go. Although making friends as an adult can be weird sometimes and difficult too. So
True.
not surprised that ended up a little strange. Unfortunately, though, is some of my absolute favorites have, in some ways, I don't want to say disappointed. I'm no longer disappointed when, let's say, a girl changes to go to try another spa or something. I do get disappointed and hurt when it's my favorite chick. She goes somewhere else and then believes some of the fake news that she's told and ends up like rage against the machine against us.
Right.
That's just upsetting. And it's such a contrast to like, you were literally my favorite. What just happened? You were like such team spirit. You did really well
Mhm.
here. We were lovely to you. You were lovely to us. Clients were great. Like just great relationship, great experience. And then just changes. So I've tried in I'd say our past 7 years or so not to get emotionally attached to the girls like I
Mhm.
used to. I still invest in them emotionally and will stop everything to help them even with their personal lives. But I don't like getting to the point where I end up in tears about something like that because
Mhm.
it's hard when you have a favorite. And like I don't want them to stay here forever in this business. At the same time, like stay till you're done.
I feel like that some of your favorites that come to my mind, anyways, were more of your like pet projects, like someone you really, it might have been actually like even a troublemaker, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, but someone you invest a lot of time in, which we've talked about before. You do put in that time for all of our staff, but I think those stand out to me as like Emily's favorites.
Yeah. I do. And when I do invest that kind of time in them, I can't help but have my heart involved in it because I care and I give a shit about their success and their feelings. And I can't always solve all the problems. I can't always save the day. I can't save them from themselves sometimes or, their own like life decisions. I may be able to see that their shitty boyfriend is pulling them back, but like, who am I to
Yeah.
say so? I'm just their boss, right? And I find that kind of a struggle is a little bit harder the older we get because I want to counsel them more. It's also not my place to say things. But yeah, I think every like generation of muses, I've definitely had a few favorites. And some I'm still friends with today or still chat with today. And support everything. And we love everything they do. They're awesome women. Yay. I love that. All right, my turn. What is
Yes.
one of your favorite things about having a dual identity?
Ooh. Um, I think for the easiest answer, where it began was, for privacy, right? And I do still appreciate that aspect of it. I remember there was a time when we first opened that we were considering being our real names, and we even had like a little jingle to, our initials. I'm sure you remember.
I
But I
do.
think it was even our lawyer who suggested, no, go with your aliases. And I'm glad we did. I think mentally, it's very easy to separate what I'm doing in a day and who I'm being. And there's things that personally I wouldn't say or do in my real life that I was like, oh, but Riley can. Like, that's just fine, as if I'm a different person. So I've relied on that at times. If I need to use it, I will. I mean, I kind of like it now, to be
Angel
quite honest
devil.
with you. Yeah.
I love that. That's cool. It's true. It could be used for good or evil. It really could. All right, second one, or next one, I should say. When did the phenomenon of girls having a spa boyfriend first become known to you?
I think right from the beginning. I really do, because that's when we were around more, again, being the manager. I
Right.
would certainly see like the interaction and the flow and like their regular clients, and you get to know people around the spa that the girls would always say like, oh, it's Bob, that's my spa boyfriend. Or, or there'd be like the hot clients for sure that the girls would be like, yeah, can't wait to go into session with him. But I feel like it was a realization right away that everyone kind of had their favorite, and I'm sure some guys who truly believed they were, so and so's boyfriend, but they all kind of had their favorites or someone they would refer to that way.
I wish I had that expression when I used to work because I definitely, in hindsight, I'm like, I know exactly who mine was,
Right.
but I didn't know the expression. I remember when I first heard it, though. It was when we first got our ATM, which I
Okay.
don't know, it was like a few months in or like 6 months in or something.
Hmm.
And it was some hot guy with very gorgeous back muscles, unbuckled jeans using the ATM. And the girl, you'd remember her name started with a B. She did
Ken.
some weird tattoos that we used to be like, oh God.
Oh yeah.
Right. And she popped her head into the lobby and was like, my spa boyfriend. And I was like, you're who? And she's like, my boyfriend, but only here. Okay.
So adorable.
And it's still a phenomenon since. I think it's hilarious.
Listen,
Ah, these girls
if
are
it can be
funny.
a bright side or like a good point in their day, I'm all for it. Why
Listen, those
not?
were some of my favorite sessions. Mine was a
Yeah,
guy named Andrew, Saturday morning. It was the best 90 minutes of my life.
I
Hi,
bet.
Andrew, if you're watching. Miss you, baby. All right, next one.
You could change one thing about Riley. What would it be?
Oh boy, this is more. I know exactly what my answer is, but it's not just Riley. It's to you in general.
Mhm.
Um, I wish that you were more confident in yourself sometimes. And I don't actually mean that in a business way. I mean that in sometimes just how you feel about yourself. One morning you wake up and you're just feeling off, or a certain life event happens and it makes you waver. And we all waver. We all do. We all have our ups and downs. But I find that when you are challenged with life's challenges, you always come out on top. And I wish you would remember that sometimes because I feel you would waver less. And I think that would come across in your Riley life and in your personal life. I think in many respects, there's so many things that battle us as women, as women in this industry, as entrepreneurs, when a lot or large percentage are men, and all those kind of things where we almost have to struggle for a standpoint or to hear our voices be heard. And when you're in a time where you're not feeling your most confident or you're most like comfortable in a situation, I want to be the one who like elbows you a little bit and be like, bitch, buck up. You know who the fuck you are.
You do
We've
though,
been
but
through
you do.
hella worse. and this is going to be just fine. Give it 5 days and thank me later.
Right.
I wish I could make it a permanent thing in your head instead of something I do remind you about. Yeah,
That's why you're my bestie.
I love you.
Because we need reminders.
Because you're the greatest person I know.
Well, you weren't very hard on me. I was like, one thing she could change about me, she might have a list and she's gonna have to
God, no.
narrow it down.
You've grown so much over the years. What is one thing you wish the girls would improve upon with their greetings?
Oh God.
Dun, dun, dun.
I wish the girls would improve upon their greetings as a general whole. Um, I know, I know some of our staff watches the pod, and we talk a lot about our staff, and usually it's in past tense. So when I'm speaking about them currently, I want to be very careful.
Of course.
But I will say, and there's girls that this does not apply to, that they just
Mm.
understand the assignment and they get the job done and they know what they're doing. But in training, we both, I believe, train very similarly. And I tell the girls in training, greeting is one of the most important parts of your job because it doesn't matter what I can teach you. It doesn't matter how skilled you are in that room. If you cannot get yourself picked, you're not working, you're not earning. And
Absolutely.
so I'll go through what to do. I mean, it's a very small window. It's a little sales pitch. It's making you, speaking to the client's penis that he's like, whoa, I need more of her. But so they all get it. And then a couple of weeks later, I'll see them in the spa and they're literally walking in flat shoes or slippers, let's just say, and just saying like, hey, I'm Riley. Boring, like boring.
Yeah.
Why would he pick you? Walk into the room. I guess the one thing I would change is to not be lazy about it. Don't get defeated because I know that can happen. A couple
Yeah.
of greetings in a row where you're not getting picked. That's understandable. But walk in the room and meet this man. You're about to go to third base with him. Give him a kiss on the cheek. Touch his
Right.
leg. Give him a compliment. Look him in the eyes. Like just those little things, everyone would make so much more money.
I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Don't be timid. Try things. Be bold. And really, you have to keep trying until you figure it out. And
Yeah.
if you haven't figured it out yet, then you still have work to do.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Right?
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter what building you work in or what name you change to or what dress you have on. Still got to figure out the formula. And
I think it's such
everybody's is a little different.
a frustrating piece. It's a good question you came up with because
Yay.
these some of these girls are extremely good at what they do. And if they don't have that small piece, and it is such a small piece, but an important one,
Yeah,
it's so frustrating to watch, you know?
I totally
But
agree.
there's some girls with some great greetings. I'll give our staff that. There are some girls
There's
that can
some
walk
that nail
in
it.
and
Yeah.
nail. So,
Yeah. The penis is the picker.
yeah.
And you could tell when it works. I can hear it down the hallway and I'm like, oh, she's got picked. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd lay money on the bet.
Absolutely.
That would be a fun gambling night.
But
Who needs a Super Bowl when you can like bet on those odds?
you know what? I
Uh,
remember going when we used to work management. Sorry to stick on this question for so long.
that's okay. No, I love it.
That we'd really get to know the clients because we'd see them all the time. And let's just use Bob as an example again. I knew Bob loved Asian girls, but based on the greeting that day, he may pick completely outside of his norm because she was that intriguing. She was that sultry. Like that is what is going to entice him, that you'd see people go out of their comfort zone or their usual go-to because of how strong a greeting can be.
It's so true. It's so true. I mean, there's always the guys that will go by looks all the time, but when you've got both, or you can, you know, charm when you're charming
Mhm.
on both sexes are so lovely when they're charming. Like it's a thing. And you could be charmed in or out of any good or bad decision. All
I
right.
agree.
Maybe our next meeting should have some extra greeting training.
Greeting. I agree.
All right, next one. How do you really feel about doing the schedule every week?
Oh. You know what? I'm fine with it now. I've been doing the schedule for the most part. Emily helps me when I need it, or I'm away or something comes up. But for the most part, I've been doing it every weekend for 14, almost 15 years.
God.
It can be tedious and boring and the same struggle every week. So it's very repetitive. It's a very repetitive part of my job. And I'm sure everyone encounters that in real life, of course.
Right.
You know what, though? I've gotten used to it now. Like, I don't stress it as much if the schedule's not full. I'm like, I know we'll get there. I know there was a time I used to actually do like the uploading onto the website. That stressed me out far more.
I remember that easier.
Whereas now, like, our web guy handles that. I just create the schedule. I think that's what made it less stressful for me, is not doing the actual back end work.
That makes sense.
It was confusing sometimes. And if I screwed something up, I'd just be, screw everything up.
I can remember how it looks because I hate the
know.
schedule.
I'm sure
I
it's
hate the
so much
schedule
more
so much.
advanced now, but back then it was like control this and move that. Like, there was just a lot of
Yeah.
coding or something to it that made it really confusing.
Yeah, it was painstaking, and neither of us are tech oriented. So
No.
it's not like the other could be like, don't worry, I'll fix it. It was
Yeah.
just this like, oh my God, what do I do?
Where did the schedule go?
Terrible. Terrible. You're so patient. I get
Oh,
frustrated with it not being full.
I
You're
know.
patient with these girls. I'm much less patient when I take over for you. I'm sure they dread when I'm like, hey guys, I'm doing the schedule this weekend.
Like, damn it.
Listen, when you're hired, you're told submit your availability on Saturday.
Yeah.
Period. Most other spas allow you to choose 1 or 2 days off per month, and then they just make the schedule according to what they
I know.
need. And when people leave, they abide by those rules. So
I know.
I'll digress for a moment.
Well, I lost
All
track here.
right.
Whose question is it?
I think it's your turn.
Okay. What's the most rewarding part about owning Muse?
Ooh. Oh gosh. Do I go deep or do I go shallow?
You have to go deep. You can't help yourself.
The shallow aspect is pure ego. It's terrible. I'm like, it makes me cocky. Like, that's just it.
Like it?
People can't tell me nothing.
Love your honesty.
It's true. But like, if I was to go deep about it, it makes me, I think, have a healthy pride. I think it makes me inspired often. It makes me feel more ambitious, if anything. I believe Muse should be a major global brand eventually, with many branches and umbrellas of different things. And I know I terrify you when I send you my ideas list and end up 45 things long. And you're like, Jesus Christ. You didn't sleep at all last night, did you? And I'm like,
No,
no, but I've got ideas. Just
it's a
roll
true
with it.
story.
Yeah, my umbrella is more like a tree. It's just extensive. Um, but I love that because I get to um I get to think that way. I get to free think a lot. And you, other than budget, you never stifle me. Even when budgets are crazy, you no longer shut me down, which was the early years. Be like, we can't afford it. And I'd be like, oh. Now you're like, not anytime soon. So I'm like, okay, but that means I can still continue my sentence, right? And you let me get it out, which is really important for me to get out of my brain. I run out of brain space if I don't get my creative ideas out. But not many people get that ability. I mean, I guess even if you owned, your own restaurant or your own corporate something, a marketing firm or whatever. I mean, in your marketing work, you could be creative, but chances are your structure or your goal or what you want from the company is probably pretty linear. Might go up the ladder linear, but like you want to get more clients or bigger, contracts and things like that. I like that we kind of don't have those walls on what we can do and come up with. I mean, even just doing the podcast seems like a simple thing, but like it keeps the tree going. It keeps the branches just expanding and expanding. I feel very blessed that we get to do that, and it's very healthy for the way my mind works for me to be able to have that safe space
Yeah.
to do so. I love that about our life and about our company. Yay!
I
That
like
was a good
that.
one. I like that.
Okay, this sounds very similar, but I mean it more broad. So not necessarily focusing on Muse, but what's your favorite part of your career?
The fact that everything from being a sex worker to owning Muse has allowed me to add more things to my accolades and my resume. So many people go with the stigma of that, like anyone who's a sex worker must not have brains, must not have ambition, won't accomplish anything, quote unquote, normal in their life. And I can tell you, the first times I was approached to write an article, I mean, we were at our first ever sex show when an editor came up to me and signed me to a book deal. So, like, things didn't I never expected came about. The fact that I have aspects of my career where I get to teach workshops and travel the world to do so. The fact that I get to educate and counsel couples sometimes. The fact that I get to work with, ordinary people on things as a sexologist and like their relationship questions and struggles. The fact that I get to teach and deliver information on things like sex education, on sex work law, on anything that leads to kind of a broader discussion, but puts you in kind of that normal category. Guest interviews on different podcasts, doing some of the radio work that I've done. I mean, I ended up with a
Mhm.
weekly segment on a radio syndicate on Sirius XM for like 4 years. Like, I
Oh,
never expected that Muse or Emily would ever become anything.
mhm.
I mean, my first boss picked my name. I didn't choose Emily. I never thought that Emily would become what it is and who she is. And the fact that I get to use a lot of my intelligence and my corporate experience and stuff through this umbrella, and that I've gotten to branch out into other things and take our brand international too, is so cool, so unexpected. And again, people can tell me nothing. Tell me I'm just a sex worker. I'll be like, bitch, you're not going anywhere. I'll be like, excuse you, sit down for a minute.
Yeah.
Let me read my
Fun
resume.
and big balls.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. And I love that. We've had the balls to do so. We take the plunge. And when opportunities come our way, they're totally outside the realm or the box of what
Mhm.
any other parlor owner, agency owner, worker is doing. We leap right into it. And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, good
Yay.
answer.
Yay.
Love Emily.
Oh. Share any moment where I made you go, oh God, Emily.
Well, okay, there's probably like a big
200?
answer and the really often answers. The often occurrence would be you and spending money. Um, like anything she wants to spend money on is never like on budget, or she doesn't price shop. No, I can't say you never price shop. I think you do that just to make me happy.
I do.
Um, so I'd
I'm a
say
good wife.
most often is to do with like spending.
That's not bad.
Hold on, I got more. I want to think of something bigger because I feel like
Keep
okay.
going.
Okay, so that's a small answer.
Okay.
I'd have to also say the mornings, because these are true stories, guys. When I wake up in the morning and I see like 27 minutes of voice notes, I'm literally like, first of all, this is pre-coffee, so my brain's just not even functioning there yet. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Emily, she was up all night thinking. Like, that's exactly what. And I'm scared because I know I should be excited. I should be like, there's some genius shit in here. I know there is. But instead, I'm like, oh my God, what does she want to do now?
Yo, that has me
It's so true.
laughing. I'm gonna start finishing it off. Like, if it's a 2 hour just train of thought where you're getting all these things, I'll try before I go to bed to just send a coffee emoji so you don't do that first.
Coffee first. That's so funny.
Oh, that's funny. I could see it though, because I hate waking up to 9,000 notifications. It gives me instant anxiety. Even it could be checks and money. I would still be like, oh God, what
Yeah.
happened? What I missed? Who
Yeah.
died? I just freak out. That's funny. Well, I'm glad I don't disappoint you too much. I thought that was
Oh
going to be a
no.
favorite story where you were like, oh God, remember that one time?
No, you don't.
All right, here's a fun one. What is your favorite food nearby the spa?
Ooh. God, we have so much food around there that we like. If I have to go with favorite, it would be it's not Caribbean, it's Caribbean heat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Caribbean heat, spicy noodles, spicy shrimp with an entire jar or jug of hot sauce. It is to die for. Like
The
so
best
good.
hot sauce.
It really is. It really is.
You know, anytime I try spicy shrimp from a different like Asian Caribbean restaurant, I'm always disappointed. It's never as good.
Well, it's funny because there's a Caribbean heat where I live,
Right.
and it's not nearly as good.
No,
Yeah. It's that
no.
location, that place, it did. And we used to eat it like all the time, whereas now it's like a rare treat for us. But
It's true. We should have Caribbean heat dates more often. Oh,
I
now I'm
agree.
thinking about it. I'm
I
hungry.
know.
We have to do one of these podcasts over lunch one day because we always record
We
at lunch hour.
should. In our office, bottle of wine and some Caribbean
And
heat.
spicy shrimp. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, so
Gentlemen,
this
feel free.
this last one for me, for you,
Okay.
is kind of a big one.
Okay.
So, if you were writing the story of Muse, actually, you do. What would the final page, final chapter look like?
Oh, goodness. Oh, this is gonna get me fluffy. I hope that we build a big enough empire that when we pass it on to our loved ones, that they are proud, that they are well off, and they take what we built and kind of ran with it. I don't know what your will looks like, but I definitely know what mine looks like. And I will be giving your children and my nieces everything. Everything I ever have in love will definitely go to those little humans. I hope we make them proud more than anything else.
Me too.
Oh,
That was a
fluff.
good answer. Really good answer.
Oh,
Heartwarming.
I
I
love
thought
all
you'd get
those
into
little
like the
people.
long, let's talk about this chapter. And who knows which way we'll go? Does it get passed on? Does it get sold and profits move to people? Like, who knows where it
Who
goes? And
knows?
is the brick and mortar really all there is? See.
That's a definitive. Absolutely not. Oh, that got me in my feelings. Um, you know what? I hope none of that happens till we're like 82, living on a private island somewhere with like
Drink some wine.
gorgeous blinged out rocking chairs, having mimosas every morning, just living our best life.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I love that. Oh,
That was my
fluffy.
last.
Oh, all right. I've got to pick one because I've got a lot left. I'm gonna do two more. Do you have an all-time favorite Muse photo?
I have a few. Um,
Yay.
One would definitely be the Beach Week promo poster that I was the poster girl of, which we
Yeah.
discussed. So lots of like pride in that one. I'd have to say too, there is a picture, I hope we can show it, of you and I on our birthday with like the Hawaiian leis, birthday hats, our flowers kissing outside, or
Yes,
like
I love
about to
that
kiss.
picture. Yeah.
And another one of us in black with red roses in the lobby. Those are my favorites.
Oh, I remember that one too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anniversaries are so fun.
Mm-hmm. What are
We're
your
so
favorite
cute.
pictures?
We're so cute and romantical. Um, one of mine is the same with the birthday hats, except not the one when we're outside. It's when we're in our office.
Yeah,
You're
I know.
behind me, and I'm like in the
I
camera.
like that one.
Um, I have a favorite Muse girl photo of
Okay.
all time, which is Heidi with the pink and the
Mhm.
black and the magazine look. I have that photo so we can show the peeps.
Okay.
Um, I definitely love, we have one picture of our lobby that I think is absolutely gorgeous from when she was sparkly new. Ooh, actually, aha. I once made a poster for the Muse Mixer that had three of our girls,
I like that.
and it was all black and white, and it was gorgeous.
Was it black and white?
I've made
Because
two different ones. I know the color one that you're thinking of too, because it was
I
awesome. It
feeling
was
like
bums.
it's Carmen. Like I can even remember their names. I think it was
Yeah.
Carmen. Um, Asian girl. What's her name?
No,
No?
Naomi. No, it was a girl
Naomi?
named Naomi. Yeah.
Okay. Never
And
mind. I don't
then
remember as
and
well as that
then
one.
Miss O and the tutu.
Oh, yes, Olivia.
Yeah. Yeah. But I made a black and white one that was Adara. Olivia, and I think, oh, her name escapes me, but I totally know it. Blonde, really slim, petite spinner girl. Anyways, I have the photo. We could show the people. Um, those are definitely some of my favorites. And then of us, I definitely have favorites of us. There's the one where we did the kinky stuff. I was your sub.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Halloween.
and we're together. Gorgeous. I love
That's a
those
good one.
photos. Um, yeah, I think those are some of my favorites. But I also like seeing the evolution because
Yeah.
like even just our girls photos, like there's eras of that too, and different
Mhm.
photographers and all that good shit.
Yeah.
Um, all right, last one for you. I literally wrote, let's pull your heartstrings for a moment. It's the
Oh
only one I
God.
made notes. What do you love most about our Muse girls?
Love most. I think in general, like as a general whole, over years, so I'm not even like specifically talking about one group or era. I think in general, the girls we hire are extremely ambitious. I think they're
Mm.
extremely smart. Um, and I love watching them grow and going to other places in their life afterwards, like you spoke about. Some we kind of keep tabs on and keep track of.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely love who they are as women, and they're all fierce women. Um, Secondly, what do I love about the Muse girls? I like their bond and the camaraderie
Mm.
between the girls. And this takes me back because we're talking about old staff and old pictures. It was right around the time the mixer was born that the girls had such a good time with it, embraced it so much. And it was a guy's birthday mixer. And I think they wrote with like whipped cream across their chest or something. I remember seeing like a picture of it. But they're such team players and they really go the extra mile generally to make our clients extremely happy. So I think as a whole, they really they really cater to our clients and want to make the business succeed.
Yeah, how much they really care about each other. I think they stick up for each other if they're having a difficult day or a difficult client. Um, I love seeing, like, we follow a bunch of them on like Facebook and Instagram and stuff. I love seeing that they're still friends with people from way back when.
Mhm.
I love seeing as they move on in different chapters of their lives that they're just still involved in their own and each other's accomplishments and milestones, and even that they still come back to like either visit or wish us a happy anniversary or watch the podcast or just anything that kind of they still touch like home base a little bit and go, hey guys, we're proud
Yeah,
of you guys too. And I think it's really sweet. I think it's
they're so
special.
special. They are.
Yeah. Yay. That was
That was
fun. So man,
fun.
are we ready for a little rapid fire?
Yeah. Who's going
Dun, dun,
first?
dun. I think I'm gonna drill you first.
Okay.
That's what she said. All right. Are you ready, Ratty? On your
Right.
mark. Get set.
Get that.
Number one, your favorite dream car.
Audi R8.
Number two, if we had an unlimited budget, what's one thing you would add to our upcoming spa renovation?
Studio upstairs for the pod.
Yay! Favorite color of all time.
Black. I know it's a shade, but whatever.
Three artists you would put on the ultimate Muse playlist.
Ooh, like, is this supposed to be sexy music for Muse or music I like?
I mean, it's for Muse.
Okay, like Usher. Um, I don't know. What's some other sexy singers? Like, want to romantic, not like a Sade. I
Oh,
don't know.
Sade would be on my list though.
Like, I would pick like Britney Spears and Lil Wayne, and like I don't know for Muse. Help
All right,
me.
guys. Everybody needs to drop in their comments their favorite artist that they put on the ultimate Muse playlist because one day we're gonna do that. All right, next one. Question five. If you had to pick only one, mimosas or Caesars?
Oh God, both mimosas.
The way your face just stressed itself, that was awesome. Number six, favorite football player.
Ooh, Ray Lewis.
Hilarious. Number seven, naughtiest thing that you have ever done in the spa. No comment.
That's my sex in the spa.
Hey, the girl
Not with a
Christy did.
client. Not with a client.
was early on too. I remember that. That's hilarious.
You know
Um,
what? It was really naughty because the girls didn't know who it was. So they could have thought it was a client, but it was someone from my personal
hilarious.
life.
hmm I do remember. Okay, number 8. Biggest goal for the podcast.
Ooh. I hope it's like just wildly successful. Like my brain goes to like dollars, but I don't mean it in that sense, but just wildly successful that we can be like level of like shits and gigs, that we reach like international audience. Yeah, that it just becomes something else, like another successful Muse venture.
I love that. All right, number 9. If you could live anywhere in the world other than Toronto, where would you choose?
Aruba?
Love that. Mm. And so far, your favorite Muse on the Mic episode.
I have a few. Oh, I know them by episode number. I know the men's episode was really good. I really liked the mileage episode. I
Mm.
love our like beginning history episodes. I can't pick. I love them. It's us. It's our life. So I'm invested. I love them all.
I love it. You survived.
It's a playlist. I really sucked at that one, but
Listen, maybe the peeps will help us make one.
maybe they should. Okay. Missionary or doggy style?
Oh, doggy style all day.
Heels or runners?
Heels.
Beach or cottage?
Oh, beach. Come on.
How many piercings do you have?
Ooh, 13.
Actually, a lot of people are surprised by that. Go-to comfort food.
Oh gosh, carbs. Any kind of carbs, potatoes, French fries, ice cream.
What motivates you?
You.
Oh, who's your hero?
Ooh. Um, oh gosh. I don't think I'm heroes. I have people that inspire me or like motivate me or
Okay.
like make me want to be better at myself. You, Oprah, Gary V, uh, used to be my mother years ago. um, hmm, I think that's all. Some of the people I used to really admire, the problem with like celebrities and stars and things like that is sometimes shit comes out about their past. And I'm
True.
like, oh, I can't like you anymore. Never mind. Like I was a big Ellen fan, but like miss me with that.
What's a word that makes you angry?
When people call me ridiculous, fucking hate that.
I knew it. Favorite book?
Favorite book? Oh gosh, there's a few. Art of Seduction.
I knew you were going to say that one.
Yeah, Art of Seduction is fantastic, as is Art of War. Becoming by Michelle Obama. A book my uncle actually wrote about my family history on his side of the family. And How to Win Friends, How to Make Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Definitely
Good
on
one.
top of my list. Yeah.
Okay, last one. Celebrity crush.
Shamar Moore. I'm very disappointed because he was available for like 10 years and I never took a move.
You never shot your shot, did you?
He's in Toronto all the time. It's ridiculous.
And you would definitely like.
I absolutely would. Yeah. And it
She's
would be
got
his
big
best
balls,
day.
people. You don't believe me.
I also think I'm a blessing to everybody's life. Like I feel no which ways
Whatever.
about that. I'm like, they'd be lucky.
He would be. Well, that
Yeah.
wraps it up on my end for our 20
Yay.
questions.
That was awesome. We got to
That
do
was
this
fun.
again.
I was nervous.
I hope that people learn some stuff about us and kind of like what we think about different things.
I think so.
That was fun. We cried a little, we laughed a little.
My hands are sweaty because you make me nervous asking me these things.
I love it. That was really good. I hope the peeps enjoyed this one because that was full of reveal. I like how candid that was too. It was good. That's good. I'm gonna tell everybody. Riley tried to get me to read the questions in advance, and I was like, absolutely not.
You're so quick-witted, and as you guys are probably learning, I'm just not. So I was like, oh, I thought I would struggle a little more than I did here.
I would never set you up to fail, my darling.
I know.
All right, guys. I think that wraps up the 20 questions episode. I feel like we're going to have to do another one of these again because I think people are going to like this one.
Yeah.
So, on that note, make sure you like and subscribe this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on all social media. Absolutely join the Patreon because we always have at least 3 or 4 episodes every month coming out there that are not made for YouTube. Gotta get all the spicy content over there. And we'll see you on the next episode of Muse on the Mic. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.